in my another class 12th biology chapter 5 principles of inheritance and variation video. I am Dr. Kailash Veena going to explain chromosomal theory of inheritance in this video. So what is chromosomal theory of inheritance? Till now we have understood about the terms of genetics, monohybrid growth, incomplete dominance, codominance, dihybrid growth, and Mendel's laws as law of dominance, law of segregation, and law of independent assortment. Now when Mendel gave his laws of inheritance, at that time he had no idea of cells and chromosomes because he gave his principles in 1850s. Then in 1900s, three scientists, namely De Vries, Correns, and von Schermark, rediscovered the statements of Mendel and gave them the status of laws. Then, because of technological advancements, we came to know about the structure of cells, the structure of chromosomes, and the behavior of chromosomes during cell division. Then finally in 1902, two scientists, Walter Sutton and Theodore Boveri, noted that the behavior of chromosomes was parallel to the behavior of genes and used chromosome movement to explain Mendel's laws. It means Sutton and Boveri in 90s, they connected Mendel's laws with the behavior of chromosomes during cell division, and they explained Mendel's laws in terms of chromosomes and genes. And that is why this theory is called as chromosomal theory of inheritance. So this theory is very simple. What Mendel have said about the dominance, what Mendel have said about the segregation, what Mendel have said about the independent assortment, we will restate those statements in terms of cells and chromosomes and genes. So before understanding the chromosomal theory of inheritance, we need to recall the process of meiosis from our class 11th curriculum. So, and this was assigned in my previous video also, that if you want to understand the chromosomal theory of inheritance effectively, then you need to have the idea of meiosis. Here I am briefly describing the idea of meiosis by taking the diagram from our class 12th NCERT biology as it is. So in brief, every cell has a life cycle which is called cell cycle, and this cell cycle is made up of two stages. One stage is interphase and the another stage is M phase. That interphase is composed of three stages, G1, S and G2. In G1 phase there is the preparation of DNA replication. In S phase there is the replication of DNA and duplication of chromosomes, and in G2 phase, the after phase of S phase, there is the preparation of cell division. So here we are taking one example of a cell which have only 4 chromosomes. It means 2 sets of chromosomes. So these chromosomes are colored as orange and yellow and green and red, and here we can see that green and yellow chromosomes are homologous chromosomes in this case, and green and red chromosomes are also homologous chromosomes. It means one of them is the maternal chromosome and another one is the paternal chromosome. So during meiosis, these homologous chromosomes makes pairs, and these pairs segregates during the meiosis 1, as we have learned in our class 11th, and then in meiosis 2, chromatids of these chromosomes chromatids which we can see in the G2 phase segregate from each other. So finally we have germ cells with haploid number of chromosomes with single chromatid. So this is how meiosis happens. Now we will relate this process with Mendel's laws. Again, here is a diagram which summarizes the process of meiosis as we have studied in class 11th. So by having a look, we can recall our idea of meiosis. And again, I am keeping the diagram from our NCERT book side by side, so you can have the idea of what these symbols presenting. And this table is to connect with the observations of principle of segregation or results of monohybrid cross with the meiosis. What are those principles? First one, that each individual organism possesses two alleles encoding a trait. This was the law of dominance. So this stage we can see before meiosis in G1 phase, where chromosomes are not duplicated. Next one is the alleles separate when gametes are formed. This is the law of segregation, and this we can see in the meiosis 1 or in the below diagram anaphase 1. So here this is how we can connect the statements of Mendel from to the meiosis. Next, I am showing again the monohybrid cross I have discussed in my previous videos. In brief, there was 3 generations in the monohybrid cross. The first one was parental generation, the next one was F1 generation, and the another one is F2 generation. In parental generation, what were the features? The parental generation was having contrasting characters with homozygous situation or pure line breeds, and F1 generation was composed of hybrid organisms showing dominant phenotypes. And from here Mendel devised the law of dominance, that in hybrid organisms or in organisms which have dissimilar pairs of alleles have shows the dominant trait, and recessive allele is not able to express itself in F1 generation. And then after self pollination of F1 generation, we will get F2 generation, in which there was a phenotypic ratio which was 3:1 and the genotypic ratio which was 1:1. So in this case we are analyzing only the organism of F1 generation, which was capital R. Small r means it was having alleles for rounded seeds as well as wrinkled seeds, but the phenotype was showing only rounded seeds because the capital R or the allele for rounded seed was dominant over the allele of wrinkled seed. So this organism makes 2 types of gametes. We are showing by these arrows. Now we can relate this process by this cellular diagram. So this is the F1 generation plant with capital R and small r. See, this capital R and small r symbols here represents the location of genes in the chromosomes. The capital R and small r's are the alleles, and the place where they resides in the chromosome, which is labeled here as yellow and orange, is called a locus for one chromosome. So this is how we can show the structure of F1 generation plant or the cell of F1 generation plant. Then before meiosis 1, chromosomes will duplicate or the DNA will replicate, so we will have this type of combination, 2 capital R's and 2 small r's, and then in meiosis 1 these 2 chromosomes will segregate from each other. This is so this is the law of segregation in with respect to meiosis. And then in meiosis 2 we will see the segregation of chromatids. So finally the gametes will have only one allele for one character. So this is the law of segregation. Alleles for a gene segregate during gamete formation, so that one gamete will receive one allele. So this is how we can connect monohybrid cross with the cellular process of meiosis. And I am reading this statement for you, that meiosis accounts for the segregation of alleles. So the segregation of alleles which we have studied in monohybrid cross, the meiosis is the reason for that segregation. Although Mendel had no knowledge of chromosomes or meiosis, we now know that a pair of alleles resides on homologous chromosomes, and that those alleles segregate during meiosis. Now, here is another diagram from our NCERT book. This is a somewhat complex or complicated diagram. Before we understand this, we must have a clear idea of meiosis and the pairing during the meiosis first. So we know that meiosis first have several stages like prophase 1, metaphase 1, anaphase 1 and telophase 1, and in the same way the meiosis 2 also have stages like prophase 2, metaphase 2, anaphase 2 and telophase 2. In the prophase 1 there were some 5 stages also, sub stages also. You need to recall your class 11th NCERT book for this information. I am repeating the concepts. Those 5 stages were laprotein, zygotein, pectine, diplotin and diakinesis. So in the pectine stage or in prophase 1, we can simply say that the pairing of homologous chromosomes was happening, and because of that pairing the metaphase first of meiosis first was different from mitosis. And here comes the difference. Why mitosis is different from meiosis, or why meiosis is different from mitosis? Because of the arrangement of chromosomes on the metaphase plate during the metaphase stage. So in mitosis you can recall your class NCERT 11th biology. I am only giving you the facts. You can have your book and you can see what I am saying in the form of diagrams. So in metaphase of mitosis you will see that chromosomes will align on the metaphase plate, but in case of meiosis you will see homologous pairs will align on the metaphase plate, and that is why after mitosis we are getting the equal number in the next generation, but in case of meiosis we are having the half number of chromosomes in the next generation or in the daughter cells. So that pairing is very important. If you are considering the example of human cell, there may be 23 pairs, and if you are considering the example of pea plant, in this case there will be 7 pairs of 14 chromosomes. So when we consider pairing, let's consider only 2 pairs, as we have discussed in previous slide also, that orange and yellow homologous chromosomes and green and red homologous chromosomes can make a pair during meiosis 1 in the prophase 1. So this pairing can happen in 2 ways. You can see the color difference. See, in one possibility there is orange chromosome and green chromosomes are in the left side, and a yellow chromosome and red chromosomes in the right side. In the another situation you can notice that orange chromosome and red chromosomes are on the left side, and yellow chromosome and green chromosomes are on the right side. So you need to see very sharply to notice the difference. As we have solved some puzzles in our childhood, let's see tell the difference between 2 pictures. So this is the difference. So this pattern of arrangement is important during meiosis. Why it is important? Because of this pattern we will see the difference in the results. When meiosis will complete, we will see these type of results. So in the first case you can see orange chromosome is always with green chromosome, and in the second case you can see orange chromosomes with red chromosomes always. Let's consider another case. Yellow chromosome with red chromosome always in the first case, and yellow chromosome with green chromosome in the second case. So here what I want to convey is that there will be difference of results if the orientation of chromosome changes, and this changing of orientation is called independent assortment. Are you getting my point? See, if we see the results of Mendelian dihybrid cross, there was a ratio of 9:3:3:1 phenotypic ratio, or 1:1, 2:4 to 1:1 genotypic ratio, and because of these ratios, Mendel concluded the law of independent assortment from the dihybrid cross. What was that law? That alleles of different characters or alleles of different genes assort independently from each other during the gamete formation. Why they assort independent to each other? Because they must have been on the different chromosomes, because the chromosomes also assort independently to each other in case of meiosis. So here we want to connect these two concepts. So here is another diagram which shows the same situation. See, for understanding dihybrid cross, you can check out my previous video on dihybrid cross. There you can understand the laws of independent assortment, and you can understand the outcome of dihybrid cross. For now, we again are seeing this F1 generational plant, which is depicted as capital R, capital Y, small y. It means having phenotype with rounded seed and yellow seed color. This plant is depicted in cellular form like this, having 4 chromosomes, 2 homologous chromosomes with the gene of seed shape and 2 homologous chromosomes with the gene of seed color. See, these chromosomes with gene of seed shape and these chromosomes with gene of seed color. So in this case, you can see that the gene for seed shape, which is R, either it is capital R or small r, or gene for seed color, which is Y, either capital Y or small y, are located on different chromosomes. So if chromosomes assort independently to each other during meiosis, these genes will also assort independently to each other. Here the stages are showing as meiosis 1 and meiosis 2, and finally we are having the gametes. See, in this case we are showing by these symbols. These gametes are shown by these symbols. There are 4 type of possible gametes from capital R, small r, capital Y, small y, which are capital R, Y, the one gamete, the another one gamete is small r and capital Y, then capital R and small y, then finally small r and small y. So the symbols represent these cells. You can see this one cell with capital R and small y, small r and capital Y. So these are the possible combinations. Here we can see 8 cells, because we are not discussing the number of cells. We are representing here the type of cells. 4 type of gametes are there. So what is the connection between this dihybrid cross and this meiosis? That meiosis accounts for independent assortment of alleles. We now know, Mendel did not know at that time, but now we know that copies of genes on different chromosomes are segregated independently during metaphase 1 of meiosis. Thus, a parent of genotype capital R, small r, capital Y, small y can form gametes with 4 different genotypes. See, I can give you one hint. If these 2 genes for seed shape and seed colors are located on different chromosomes, as you can see in these diagrams, they are located on different chromosomes, then we are having different combinations of gametes, and because of that we are having different types of phenotypes. In this case, 4 type of phenotypes with rounded yellow seeds, rounded green seeds, wrinkled yellow seeds and wrinkled green seeds. If we match these plants with parental plants which were rounded in yellow and wrinkled green, we can see there that these 9 plants and this one plant have the parental combination, and this rounded and green plant and this wrinkled and yellow plant are the new combinations. So here the combinations of parental combinations are called parental combinations, and the new ones are called recombinants. So we can say that the appearance of recombinants in F2 generation proves the independent assortment of these 2 genes or alleles for different characters or alleles for different genes. Why? Because they are probably located on different chromosomes. And as I have already mentioned in my previous videos that only the law of segregation from Mendelian monohybrid cross is the universal law of inheritance of Mendel. The law of segregation. We cannot say that law of independent assortment, which was derived by the dihybrid cross, was universal. Why it is not universal? Because in this diagram we can clearly see that the gene for seed shape, which is R, and the gene for seed color, which is Y, are located on different chromosomes, and that is why they are assorting independently to each other. If they are located on same chromosome, the situation may be different. They may not be independently assorting. Then we can say that these genes are linked. So what is this linked thing? This phenomenon will be called as linkage. This linkage is the topic of our next video. So we will discuss about linkage and recombination in our next video of class 12th biology, chapter 5, principles of inheritance and variation, because things are not so simple in case of dihybrid cross, and that is why we are saying that the law of independent assortment is not a universal law, because there is a phenomenon which is called linkage, and this linkage is an exception or an extension of the law of independent assortment. And this is not very simple case. If you have understood this, that if genes are located on same chromosome, they may be linked, and if genes are located on different chromosomes, as in this case, they may be independently assorting. There is one more phenomenon I want to take your attention for that in the meiosis. Again, I am requesting you, if you are going to watch my video, if you are planning to watch my next video of linkage and recombination, I am requesting to you that please recall the knowledge of meiosis. That will help you better to understand the this chapter of genetics. So in meiosis you can see one more thing. This is not a topic of this video, but I am taking your attention to that thing. See, here you can see these red chromosomes with some blue parts and blue chromosome with some red parts. It means paternal chromosomes with the maternal parts and maternal chromosomes with paternal parts. This happens here in the metaphase 1, and this process is called as crossing over. This is an assignment for you before my next video, that you will learn about crossing over before watching my video. So this crossing over is very important when we will discuss the process of linkage and crossing over. So finally I would like to state that if genes are located on different chromosomes, they will assort independently to each other, and this is the law of independent assortment with respect to the meiosis. And if they are located on same chromosome, they may be linked, they may not be linked because of this crossing over. So things will be complicated and they are more interesting. So we will discuss these things in my next video, which is linkage and recombination. Thank you so much for your patient listening.